There's a voice in your head that's been talking your entire life. And here's the part no one ever told you. You think it's you, but it's not. It tells you what kind of day you're going to have. It replays your mistakes. It whispers fears about the future. And most of the time, you don't even notice it's running the show. This voice, it's not helping you. It's draining your energy, hijacking your peace, and slowly convincing you that you are the noise. But here's the twist. The moment you stop talking to yourself, something strange happens. Something subtle, something powerful. The shift begins. And once it does, you'll never see yourself or your life the same way again. But to understand what this voice really is and how it secretly runs your life, we need to look at what it's doing day after day without you even realizing. Let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed how your mind just won't shut up? Even when your body is tired, your brain keeps running. Judging, comparing, replaying. That comment you made yesterday, it replays it like a broken record. That thing you're scared might happen, it's already rehearsed it 100 times. And it doesn't stop. Not in the shower. Not when you're eating. Not even when you're trying to sleep. It's like living next to a radio that never turns off. Only this one isn't playing music. It's playing you. You see, the real reason you're exhausted is not your job. It's not your relationships. It's not even life itself. It's the voice and the non-stop mental loop it traps you in. Judgment, regret, fear, comparison. On the outside, everything might look fine, but inside, it's chaos. Because the voice is never satisfied. It always finds something wrong, something missing, something broken. And here's what nobody tells you. It's not your life that's heavy. It's your thoughts about it. Picture your mind like a clear glass of water. Still, reflective, open. But every time you talk to yourself, every time the voice jumps in with opinions, fears, doubts, it's like dropping more and more mud into the glass until you can't even see through it anymore. You start mistaking the distortion for truth. But here's the flip, and this is big. If you're feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or constantly anxious, it might not be because of what's happening. It's because of how you're narrating it. That voice in your head has become your entire reality. And most people never question it. And the scariest part? We don't just listen to the voice. We believe it. We think it's us. That's where the real trap begins. That voice in your head, the one that judges you, overthinks everything, replays your past and catastrophizes your future, is not just noise. It's a cage. And the cruelest part? You've been taught to identify with it. Since childhood, the world has conditioned you to believe, I think, therefore I am. So you took the voice as your identity. You thought, this must be me. But what if I told you, it's not? Eckhart Tolle calls this the pain body. It's not who you are. It's who you think you are when you've forgotten who you really are. It's a collection of emotional residue, old wounds, beliefs that were never yours in the first place. And the more you talk to yourself from that place, the more it grows, feeding on your doubts, your fears, your story. But here's a better way to look at it. You're not the actor in the film. You're the one in the seat watching it play out. Your thoughts are scenes on the screen. They move, they change, they rise, they fall. But you're the awareness watching the whole thing unfold. And now comes the most important question you've probably never asked. If you're the voice in your head, then who's listening to it? Take a breath. Let that question settle. Because the moment you really ask it without trying to answer it, you feel something shift. That question is the crack in the wall. That question changes everything, because it cracks the illusion. And through that crack, something deeper begins to reveal itself. Before we go further, if something in you is already starting to open, take a second to subscribe to the channel. Not just to follow along, but to anchor this shift in your life. This isn't just information, it's a return. And your presence here means you're ready. Now, back to the truth that's quietly been waiting for you. You've seen that you're not the voice in your head, you're the one who hears it. But that leads to a bigger question. Then who are you? Let's not rush to answer that. Instead, let's feel into it. Imagine your mind as a clear, still lake. When undisturbed, it reflects everything perfectly. The sky, the trees, the world as it really is. But the voice in your head, it's like tossing pebble after pebble into that lake. Judgments, stories, fears, constant ripples, no reflection. Over time, the lake forgets how still it can be. Just like you've forgotten who you are beneath all the noise. But stillness? Stillness is your original nature. Not emptiness, not numbness, presence. Fully here, fully now, before the commentary. In Hinduism, they call this the Atman, the silent, eternal self beneath the chaos. Christian mystics speak of the still, small voice of God. Not shouting, not dramatic, just quietly waiting. In Taoism, it's called Wu Wei, the effortless flow of reality, the part of you that doesn't need to force anything to be. And in Buddhism, it's Sati, mindful awareness that sees everything without becoming it. Stillness is not something you chase. You don't have to sit cross-legged for hours or fight your thoughts like an enemy. You don't have to silence the voice. You just have to stop feeding it. And when you do, that's when the shift begins. But here's what most people never talk about. The moment the voice quiets, something else shows up. And for many, that something feels terrifying. Now here's where it gets uncomfortable. Because the moment the voice starts to quiet down, you don't feel peace right away. You feel space, silence, and that silence can be terrifying. Your mind panics. What happens if I stop thinking? Who am I if I'm not narrating everything? Feels like you're falling into nothingness. But here's the twist, that nothing is not empty. It's everything the voice has been drowning out. When the mental forest clears, sunlight rushes in. Warm, bright, and healing. What you feared was the void, was actually the birthplace of clarity. Stillness isn't a blank page. It's where your real intelligence lies. This is where your intuition sharpens, your creativity expands, and peace finally has room to breathe. And if you're looking for proof, Harvard studies show silence literally grows brain cells, parts of your brain that regulate memory, learning, and awareness. They light up when you stop flooding your mind with noise. So when your mind starts screaming, "This is pointless. You need me. You won't survive without constant thinking," just know, that's fear talking. The truth? You don't need thoughts to survive, just like you don't need to count steps to walk. Your deepest wisdom doesn't need words. And in that silence, your own soul becomes audible. But how do you stay in that silence? How do you live from that space when the world and your mind keeps pulling you out of it? It starts with something deceptively simple, awareness. Noticing the voice without grabbing it. Like watching clouds float across the sky. You don't try to catch them. You just let them pass. That's mindfulness. The next time your mind starts spinning, judging, overthinking, whispering fears, just pause. Take one breath, and instead of reacting, just notice. Don't argue with the voice. Don't try to change the story. Just see it. That's the shift. Gratitude is the second key. And I don't mean think positive. I mean feel the real, the warmth of sunlight on your skin, the taste of your morning tea, the sound of a bird outside your window. These aren't small things. They're portals. They pull you back into the now, where the voice can't survive. And then there's compassion, especially with yourself. When that inner voice criticizes you, when it says you're not enough, not doing enough, not being enough, don't fight it. Just gently say, I see you, but I don't need to believe you. Speak to yourself the way you'd speak to a scared child. That softness is strength. It's how the war inside begins to end. These tiny moments are where the shift lives. It's not about being perfect. It's about remembering, again and again. And yet, the voice doesn't just vanish forever. It always tries to come back. But here's what changes, and it's everything. Now I know what you might be thinking, but what if the voice comes back? It will. It always does. That voice, the inner critic, the doubter, the commentator, it doesn't just pack up and leave because you've had a moment of stillness. But here's the shift. You don't need it to disappear. You just need to stop giving it power. It's not about silencing the voice. It's about realizing it's just noise. You are the sky. The voice is just weather. Some days it's calm. Other days storms roll through. But the sky never becomes the storm. It stays open, steady, untouched. That's who you are now. And the moment you stop believing the voice is you, you take its fuel away. Imagine it like this. A thief used to sneak into your house every night, rummaging through your drawers, rearranging your thoughts, stirring up anxiety. But now you've changed the locks. The thief still shows up, still knocks, still rattles the door, but he doesn't have the keys anymore. You hear the voice, but you don't invite it in. You don't offer it a seat at the table. You just let it pass. And here's the truth nobody tells you. You don't just live the shift. You become it. It moves from something you practice to something you are. That's when things get interesting. And when that freedom becomes your new normal, the way you experience life starts to shift in the most unexpected ways. So here's where the real beauty begins. When the shift stops being a moment and starts becoming your new normal. You begin to notice it in the little things. Moments you once rushed through suddenly feel sacred. You're standing in a crowded market. The old you, overstimulated, anxious, lost in commentary, too noisy, too many people. I need to get out of here. But now you hear laughter, you see colors, you smell spices you never noticed before, and somehow, amidst the chaos, you feel still. You're no longer inside the noise. You're watching it, rooted in presence. Someone cuts you off in traffic. You take a breath. You feel your hands on the wheel. You stay here, not in your head. An argument starts, but instead of reacting with defense, you respond from depth. You're no longer trying to win, you're listening. You've stopped chasing peace, because you've remembered it's what you are. The external world hasn't changed, but your relationship to it has. And because of that, everything feels lighter. Life starts talking to you differently, not in words, but in moments. But the most beautiful part of this shift is not just mental, it's deeply human. It reconnects you to your own heart. Let's go even deeper now, because beneath all that mental noise, beneath the thinking, analyzing, comparing, there's something softer, quieter, your heart. Not the one that pumps blood, I mean the real one, the center of your being. The part of you that's never once shouted to be heard, but has always been speaking in silence. It doesn't communicate with words. It doesn't need to explain itself. It just knows. Picture this. Your thoughts. The chatter, the judgment, the planning, they're like a campfire. Flickering, captivating, demanding attention. But look just beyond the fire, and there's a vast night sky. Still, infinite, untouched. That's your awareness. That's the heart. And when the voice quiets down, when you stop leaning into the flames, you start to see the stars. Compassion begins to rise. Not because you're trying to be a better person, but because the noise that blocked it is finally gone. And you realize something wild. You don't have to force love. You are love. You just forgot beneath the noise. The heart is not separate from stillness. It is stillness. It's not about thinking less. It's about feeling more of who you already are. And in that space, something shifts. Because now you're not just practicing presence, you're living from it. And when you live from this space, the shift is no longer a concept. It becomes who you are. Today, I want you to remember this. Once you stop talking to yourself, life begins talking back. In silence, in stillness, in truth. If you made it this far, there's only one thing left to do, not as a favor, but as a signal to your soul. Subscribe to the channel and comment below. I choose stillness over noise. Let that be your declaration. And like and share this video not for the algorithm, but as a true act of readiness. To live from presence. To live the shift. We're only just beginning. And this journey is yours now.